The views, information, and opinions expressed during the following program are solely those of the individuals involved and do not necessarily represent the views of Access Communications, its representatives, or its employees.
Chambers at 6 p.m. Monday, November 13th, 2023. I thought you were going to have music to introduce me when I was done walking. Okay, well, we'll try that again in the new year. So, okay. First off, the approval. Do you have a motion, please?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda, Your Worship.
I'll second that, Your Worship.
All in favor? Carried unanimously. Additions to the agenda. Mr. Warren.
Yeah, thanks, Your Worship. Administration has no additions tonight.
Council? Nothing? Moving forward, no public hearings, notices, delegations, proclamations, petitions, there's nothing. Reports on standing committees. Mr. Van Betju, Police Commission.
Thank you, Your Worship. A regular meeting of the Weyburn Police Commission was held in the Administrative Boardroom at 4 p.m. Tuesday, October 17th. Moved by Barclay Charlton and seconded by Councillor Van Betju that minutes of the October 5th, 2023 Police Commission meeting be approved. There was no correspondence. Chief Blunden presented the Weyburn Police Service monthly report for September 2023 under the guidelines of the 2023 business plan as follows. Goal 1, ensuring a safer community for all, actions and measurables, which included monthly stats report. Deputy Chief Van Assype advised there will be impaired check stops when it gets a little closer to Christmas. Goal 2, healthy organization, actions and measurables, which included the September financial and staff overtime reports. Queen's Jubilee medals were given to 6 members and 1 officer received a 20-year exemplary service award. The Chief provided a budget update with a total net operating budget at month end of a positive variance of $136,555. Goal 3 was community engagement, actions, and measurables. The accounts payable report and the bylaw report were given and received by the board. The board was provided the following verbal report: September end budget comparison report, September Police Commission accounts payable, September budget report, monthly overtime report, and year versus year overtime report. These moved by Barclay Charlton and seconded by Krista Ubeck that the Police Commission reports for September be accepted. There was no unfinished business, no new business. The board moved into in-camera at 4:55 and back out of camera at 5:20, and meeting was adjourned.
Any questions? That will be noted and received. Consent agenda. The following will be noted and received after a motion. Water treatment plant report for October, Public Works report for October, Building Department report for October, Accounts Receivable report for September. Do I have a motion, please?
I'll make the motion that the items on the consent agenda be approved.
I'll second that, Your Worship.
Discussion? Seeing none, call the question. All in favor? Carried unanimously. Motions, accounts payable, if you would, please.
Your Worship, I'd like to make the motion that the purchases in the amount of $2,160,978.14 from October the 1st, 2023 to October 31st, 2023 be passed for payment.
I'll second that, Your Worship.
Discussion? Seeing none, call the question. All in favor? Carried unanimously. Introduction of bylaws. We have the dog and cat bylaw.
Thanks, Your Worship. At the October 23rd Council meeting, Council gave first reading to the bylaw 2023-3465, which is the dog and cat bylaw amendment. As explained at that meeting, some of the changes involve number of dogs and cats permitted per household versus per person. So they would go from 3 per household to from, as it was before, 3 per person was what is stated in the bylaw, as well as wording around dangerous dogs and cats, as well as miscellaneous offenses, wherein if a homeowner is not home and you're called to the bylaw officer is called to the house due to an animal complaint, the animal may be removed and impounded. And there's some wording around that. If the homeowner is away, say for the weekend or whatever, then the animal would be taken into the dog pound. And if council has no further changes or amendments, I would recommend that council give second and third reading to this bylaw tonight.
Your Worship, I'd make a motion that bylaw 2023-3465 to amend bylaw 2006-3073, the City of Weyburn Dog and Cat bylaw, be read a second time.
Do I have a second?
Your worship, I'll second that motion.
Discussion.
Thank you, Your Worship. I appreciate all the hard work that went into updating this bylaw. I think it's very important that we stay on top of keeping all of our bylaws up to date. The only thing I have a little bit of a hesitancy about is the number exactly of animals per household. Just, it seems a little low, but I understand that there's some other reasoning behind why we're doing this and how it's being enforced.
Yeah. Thanks, Your Worship. I think it's important when we look at some of these bylaws is that you see a lot of wording like may and could. And I think that grants folks a bit of latitude to work with residents as well. And I think that that's important. I don't disagree with you, Councillor Morissette. I think 3 might not be the right number for a lot of families, but we do have to pick a number. And 3 seems like a good one.
Mr. Janke?
I do agree with Councillor Morissette on the number, but I also feel like there's never going to be a perfect number, and we have to trust our enforcement and judiciary branches to take care of these sorts of things, unfortunately.
Many numbers are arbitrarily selected. Look at our speed limits that we just so discussed years back. It was raised and it was picked to be lower. So there's different variety of different numbers, and for whatever reason, a lot of times it's very arbitrary as to what we're dealing with. So we're going forward. Any further questions? If nothing more, any further comments? Nothing more. All in favor? So there, and then opposed. One opposed. And so that's passed. Third reading.
Worship, I'd make a motion that bylaw 2023-3465 to amend bylaw 2006-3073, the City of Weyburn Dog and Cat bylaw, be read a third time and passed.
I'll second that, Your Worship.
Further discussion? Seeing none. Call the question. All in favor? 6 in favor. Opposed? 1 opposed. And it's passed. The fire bylaw.
Yeah, thanks, Your Worship. So the City of Weyburn fire bylaw is intended to protect residents and visitors to our community from the effects of fire. In 2023, the City of Weyburn identified a review of the fire services bylaw as a strategic priority. The bylaw has had its first reading at the October 9th council meeting. So the Weyburn Fire Department had conducted a thorough review of the current fire and protective services bylaw and is recommending replacing the bylaw with the attached version. There are several changes and additions, including so going through definitions and abbreviations, authority of the fire chief, fees for service, fire protection systems, fees for responding to false alarms, inspection of premises, order to remedy contraventions, appeal of order, immediate hazards, fire hydrants, smoke alarms, carbon monoxide alarms, fire pits, portable fire pits, wood piles, barbecuing, propane heaters, and patio heaters, fire ban, property identification, vacant buildings, securing of premises, and commandeering of equipment. I'm also looking at hazardous substances and offenses, which is our Schedule B. So the following are some reasons for the changes: to better clarify the bylaw for the city residents and their safety, reducing the amount of time spent on the scene for multi-unit dwellings and commercial properties by the fire crews for false alarms, reducing repeat fire inspections for those property owners who refuse to comply with the National Code of Canada, and the ability to cost recover expenses within the city limits for fire department responses. Another key things that we discussed at our October meeting was education. Education is the biggest thing that we want to have for this. Education on our bylaws is one of the things that we continue to strive for, and we want to continue to do within our operations, and this is a focus for the fire department, especially with this changes making within this bylaw and moving forward that way. So I'm recommending that council give a second and third reading to bylaw 2023-3466 at this meeting tonight.
Do you have a motion?
Your worship, I'd move that bylaw 2023-3466, the fire bylaw for the city of Weyburn, be read a second time.
Second.
I'll second that, your worship.
Discussion? I'll make the statement that I don't agree with the fines, and I won't vote for this one. I think the fines are way too heavy. When we talk about education, there's much better ways than heavy fines, and I know there's cost recovery on that, but there's other ways of doing it. Talking to some business people, some of the implementation of this enforcement is going to cost them anywhere from, and it seems like it's very basic stuff that they want, but it's going to be $10,000 to $20,000 for small businesses too, or they can receive numerous fines for failing to comply when it's going to cost them $10,000 to $20,000 to improve. And I won't agree with the way the bylaw's been upgraded and put into there. So I won't agree with that. So I'll keep my stand on that. Anybody else? Mr. Janke?
Your worship, I understand your point, and I don't even disagree with it, but I would make the exact same argument I made about the dog and cat bylaw moments ago, that we have to trust that it's going to be applied sanely, and there is no perfect number for any of these things.
Anybody else? Okay, call the question. All in favor? 6 in favor, 1 opposed. Third reading?
Your worship, I would move that bylaw 2023-3466, the fire bylaw for the city of Weyburn, be read a third time and passed.
I'll second that, your worship.
Call the question. All in favor? 6 in favor, 1 opposed. And that fire bylaw is passed. Zoning bylaw amendment. Mr. Warren?
Yeah, thanks, your worship. So zoning bylaw amendment application from Bree Patterson has been received, which is requesting that the property located at 343 2nd Street be rezoned from a neighborhood commercial to a residential semi-detached.
Go ahead, Councillor.
Thank you. I was going to wait until Manager Warren was done. Your worship, with your permission, I'll recuse from this one.
Sorry, Council, I'll keep on going through. After the council gave its first reading on October 23rd, regular council meeting, the public notices were sent out in accordance with our city public notice policy. Notices were advertised in the October 25th and November 1st editions of the Weyburn Review, posted at City Hall and also on our city website. Additionally, neighborhood notices were provided to all our owners within 75-meter radius of the property. Notices were also provided to the Weyburn District Planning Commission to give them an opportunity to comment on the application. The commission had no objections and we had no other responses received. So a little background, in October of 2017, the property was rezoned from residential semi-detached to neighborhood commercial. The reasons for the amendment was to allow the owner to convert the use from an existing commercial office for general business back to residential use. So you have a map of the subject property located on the screen. So going through our zoning bylaw 2020-3412, the applicant again has requested the change back to semi-residential, residential semi-detached. The R2 zone permits semi-detached dwellings units and uses permitted in the R1 zone, while recognizing the demand for conversions of older, larger detached dwellings to rental housing. It is designated to conserve the general character of the established neighborhood and encourages the renewal of existing housing. So this is a discretionary use or within this area for the move back. So council's options, so council hold a public hearing for the bylaw 2023-3468 to hear any concerns or comments from interested parties. Council then can give second and third reading to bylaw 2023-3468, being a bylaw to amend zoning bylaw to resume the aforementioned land from NC back to an R2. And then option 2 is to refuse second reading, and then you have to provide the comments back for that. So option 1 is the recommendation from administration that council gives second and third reading for bylaw 2023-3468 to amend the zoning bylaw as mentioned above.
Before we do the second reading, make a motion. There's going to be a public hearing here for this bylaw 2023-3468. I declare this public hearing open. I invite anybody who wishes to speak about this rezoning bylaw to speak, come forward. Calling once. Calling twice. For the third and final call. Seeing none, I declare it closed, and council can now go ahead with our second and third reading, if we would, please.
Your Worship, I'd like to make a motion that bylaw 2023-3468, a bylaw to amend zoning bylaw 2022-3412 for the purpose of rezoning the property at 343 2nd Street Northeast, Lot 1, 2, and 3, Block 75, Plan S4840, from neighborhood commercial to R2 semi-detached, be read for a second time.
I'll second that, Your Worship.
Discussion? Seeing none, call the question. All in favor? 6 in favor. Unanimous. Third reading?
Your Worship, a motion that bylaw 2023-3468, a bylaw to amend zoning bylaw 2022-3412 for the purpose of rezoning the property at 343 2nd Street Northeast, lots 1, 2, and 3, Block 75, Plan S4840, from neighborhood commercial to semi-detached, be read a third time and passed.
Your Worship, I'll second that motion.
Call the question. All in favor? Carried unanimously. Who would get Mr. Janke, Mr. Van Betsch, if you would, please. Refuge bylaw. Engineering, Wilkinson.
Thank you. So this is the refuse bylaw amendments. The refuse bylaw 2018-3391 is set to have a review of rates for 2024. During the rate assessment, engineering reviewed the bylaw as a whole. Engineering has updated the bylaw to have appropriate language, clear and concise definitions, clarification regarding service, and continuity with the permit to operate at the landfill. So a summary of the changes include: we did update the language to be all gender neutral. Definitions were updated to match the zoning bylaw and cities act, so we can have consistency across the board. We did multiple language changes to address the addition of recycling services. So in a lot of the bylaw language, it would talk about the refuse cart, but it would not talk about the recycling cart. So we just ensured that we were talking about both the refuse and the recycling cart for conditions and the services provided. We did provide clear language on properties that receive city-provided waste and recycling services. So this is clearly identifying that it is provided to residential homes, not apartment blocks or commercial. So we just did a little more clarification on that. We did eliminate references to the 240-liter carts and service changes. We no longer offer the 240-liter option, so we just eliminated it from the language in here. Service fee and requirements for additional refuse or recycle carts. So this is something new that we have added an option that residents can apply to have an additional refuse or recycle cart. This is something that the City of Weyburn has previously not offered. So we did put some service fees in that as well as some requirements on the application. And it is based on the discretion of availability of carts and availability on the route you're on, because we could have a cap on this based on being able to pick up within the day. So we've outlined things like that. We did add the addition of the oil recycle center, the eco center, to the landfill. So we have had that at the landfill, but it was not properly mentioned in the bylaws. So we have added that section. We have updated to the acceptance of asbestos in the landfill and that we do accept asbestos there. So we have outlined things around that. We did split Schedule A into Schedule A and B. So originally Schedule A and B were combined. That had all the rates on your utility bill as well as the rates to the landfill. So we've just split them into Schedule A now just has the rates and services on your utility bills, and Schedule B is just the landfill rates. So it's just a little clearer there. We have deleted Schedule B recycle materials, and we have designated that is based on the recycle contractor and the provider. So that is all outlined within that contract. So we have removed it from the bylaw. And then we did delete Schedule C, which is a special waste permit. This permit is somewhat of a living document because it is based on the conditions of the Ministry of Environment and our permit to operate. And we do have conditions that change within that. So we've removed it from the bylaw so that it can still be that living document that makes sure that we're meeting the Ministry of Environment requirements. After those changes within the bylaw, we've also done a summary of the rate changes. So for rate changes, I've showed the current rate for the environmental fee, the landfill decommissioning fee, and the recycling fee. So those ones, you will see an increase of 25 cents per year for the environmental fee, as well as the landfill decommissioning fee. They're going to see a 25 cents increase, 2024 to 2026 each year. The recycling fee has stayed the same. We have not changed that because we are in a locked-in contractor with our recycling provider, and that is locked in till the end of 2026. So we were able to keep that rate the same for the residents because we are not going to see an increase in fee on the recycle contract. So we were able to keep that one the same. For the monthly cart fee, this is chargeable to all properties who have an additional refuse or recycle cart. We currently don't have that, so that would be a new thing coming in 2024. That it would start at $10 and you'd see a 50 cents increase over 2025 and 2026. We also have a rate change. This is the next one. This would be Schedule B. So this is for the landfill. So you are going to see rate increases every single year on basically all the categories there. And then we have done some rate increases on asbestos. Because that is one of, it takes a lot more management for asbestos, and we're one of the few areas that take it. And then we have done some eliminations on this. We don't have an impound fee. We don't do car bodies, so we've actually eliminated it from there, as well as we do not take fridges, stoves, white goods, so we have eliminated that from the fee schedule because we actually don't take them. There is another establishment within the City of Weyburn who does. So we have eliminated those from the fees because they're just not applicable to the fee thing anymore. We've eliminated the service change fee for residential waste carts because there's not a service fee to change between the 240 and the 360 anymore because we don't have the 240. So those are kind of a summary of the changes. And so the recommendation is council provide first reading of the refuse bylaw 2023-3469.
Do I have a motion, please?
Your Worship, I move that bylaw 2023-3469, the refuse bylaw for the City of Weyburn, be read a first time.
I'll second that, Your Worship.
Discussion?
I love the addition of the option for an additional cart. Thank you for that. I'd heard a few folks approach me over the years on that one, so thanks.
Where do frigid stoves and, you said we eliminated frigid stoves and what else?
Basically appliances, we don't take them at the
Where,
landfill.
they just go straight to the scrap dealer?
Margolot, yeah.
More or less? So basically, we're not taking any scrap metal as such?
Well, we just don't take those. We actually haven't for a significant amount of years. So it's specifically the appliance portion, so.
Okay. And mattress, one person asked me about mattresses.
We do take mattresses.
Okay.
Gentlemen, the fee that you're discussing with the $5, the Enviro fee, can you help people understand what that actually covers and what that $5 per month at your house, what you're getting for that, I guess?
Yeah, so the environmental fee goes into the landfill account. It funds things like your household hazardous waste day. We provide that once a year, and that is a significant undertaking, but we do offer that as a service to the citizens of Weyburn, so it covers things like that, as well as it would go into general operating of the landfill.
Thank you.
Any further questions? Seeing none, first reading, call the question, all in favor? Carried unanimously. And that will be, we'll hold off into second reading, or do you want to do all three readings tonight? Okay, can we do second reading, please? Or,
I think normally council would just do second and third reading at the next meeting.
okay, we'll just do that. In case there's anybody wants to bring any issues forward during this one. Okay. Moving forward, the snowmobile bylaw.
Yeah, thanks, Your Worship. The City of Weyburn has a bylaw that regulates the operation of snowmobiles within city limits, which is bylaw 2017-3369. So on October 17th, 2023, Rick Hallberg, who's the president of the Souris River Snowmobile Club, had a meeting with city administration requesting to slightly alter the route for this upcoming 2023-2024 riding season to avoid a pea field in the northwest portion of the snowmobile route. So the current map, and I'll show you that later on, which is Schedule A, allows snowmobile operators to travel in the following areas in the northwest portion of the snowmobile route. So west beside 22nd Avenue on the south side of the road, crossing Government Road, which is on Highway 35. And north behind the Hillcrest Cemetery, and then they go to the snowmobile repair shop at 517 Government Road South. So the area I'm talking about is just this area here where my cursor is showing. The request is to allow snowmobile operators to travel in the following areas for the upcoming riding season, which would be in effect until April 30th of 2024. North 1.1 kilometers to 22nd Avenue on the east side of Government Road, again on Highway 35. West by crossing Government Road by 311 meters, northeast by 549 meters, and proceed 148 meters east to the snowmobile repair shop, again on 517 Government Road South, and I'll show you a map for that. So just going up Government Road, going up by Myers Leisure World, right beside our Hillcrest Cemetery, and behind Myers Leisure World, which is the current route to get to Terry's Yamaha. So I am recommending that City Council provide their approval to amend the Weyburn snowmobile route map, which is Schedule A, in bylaw 2017-3369, only for the 2023-2024 snowmobile season.
Your Worship, I'll make the motion that bylaw 2023-3470 to amend bylaw 2017-3369, a bylaw respecting the operation of snowmobiles within the City of Weyburn, be read for a first time.
Your Worship, I'll second that.
Discussion? Mr. Richards?
Thanks, Your Worship. A couple of things. First, a comment. Appreciate the work by the Snowmobile Club putting this together for us all, and our Snowmobile Club has a very great reputation, I think, in the provincial community, so I appreciate that. Just a simple question, I hope, to the city manager, because you're quarterback in this one. You say this is only for this year. Do you expect it will go back to something different next year, or do you expect it will likely stay this way going forward?
No, it'll go back to the normal route next year, because the field that will be a P field this year will be a stubble field next year.
Perfect.
So the lands that they've requested to go on are all city-owned land.
Yeah.
And so the discussion that I had with President Rick Hallberg about the request is that it only be for this year because of that field. It's for the safety of the riders.
Very good. Thank you.
Call the question. All in favor? Carried unanimously. This one, because of the imminent snow that could be coming within a week or two, they talk about, could we go forward with this bylaw? Because this is just a change to the routing a bit. Could we do second and third reading?
That's your discretion as council.
So I would like to see a second and third reading.
Your Worship, I'd like to make the motion that bylaw 2023-3470 to amend bylaw 2017-3369, a bylaw respecting the operation of snowmobiles within the city of Weyburn, be read a second time.
Your Worship, I'll second that.
And also in this discussion, go ahead, just going to say in the discussion, this is again just for this year, so there's no use in dragging it out, sort of. And it's all city land, right?
That's correct, Your Worship.
Okay. Call the question. All in favor? Carried unanimously.
Your Worship, I'd like to make the motion that bylaw 2023-3470 to amend bylaw 2017-3369, a bylaw respecting the operation of snowmobiles within the city of Weyburn, be read for a third time and passed.
I'm sorry, actually, we would have to do a motion to allow for a third reading at the same meeting first. So if you could just hold off on that motion and first make a motion just to allow us to do 3 readings in one meeting, please. Thanks.
Okay, so rewind. I'd like to make the motion that we have a third meeting, or a third reading of this bylaw.
I'll second that, Your Worship.
Call the question. All in favor? Carried unanimously.
Okay. So, Your Worship, I'd like to make the motion that bylaw 2023-3470 to amend bylaw 2017-3369, a bylaw respecting the operation of snowmobiles within the city of Weyburn, be read a third time and passed.
Your Worship, I'll second that.
Call the question. All in favor? Carried unanimously. Again, I thank council because I know the vast majority of us, if not the majority of us, don't like doing 3 readings all in one shot. It's good to have people's input in case people want inputs, but this is a very different case where it's just a little bit of a change of route onto here, and we're on city land. So, assessment rule extension, supplementary rule. Director of Finance, please.
Good evening. So the Saskatchewan Assessment Management Agency, SAMA, has not sent our numbers for our supplemental tax roll. So the supplemental tax roll, this is for any changes to properties that were completed after our original roll has been sent. So these need to be added to the taxes. The process of preparing the sup roll and mailing the 2023 tax notices will be past the required date as stated in the bylaw of December 1st of 2023, so an extension date of January 31st, 2024 will be enough time to prepare the assessment roll and to ensure that there's no errors or changes that need reviewing before applying the mill rate and processing the tax notice. So quite often we have to extend this date. SAMA does not send our sup roll until our original roll from May has been approved, and it will not be approved until all our appeals are settled, so that's what we are waiting for right now.
Do you have a reading?
Yep. Your Worship, that the bylaw 2023-3471, a bylaw to extend the time required for the completion of the 2023 supplementary assessment roll, be read a first time.
I'll second that, Your Worship.
Discussion? Call the question. All in favor? Carried unanimously. I believe this is one, again, that we could do all 3 readings tonight.
Your worship, I'll make a motion that bylaw 2023-3471, a bylaw to extend the time required for the completion of the 2023 supplementary assessment roll, be read a second time.
I'll second that, Your Worship.
Call the question. All in favor? Carried unanimously. The request for a third reading?
I'd like to make a request for a third reading of bylaw 2023-3471.
I'll second that, Your Worship.
Call the question. All in favor? Carried unanimously.
Your worship, I'd like to make a motion that bylaw 2023-3471, a bylaw to extend the time required for the completion of the 2023 supplementary assessment roll, be read a third time and passed.
I'll second that, Your Worship.
Call the question. All in favor? Carried unanimously. If there's no unfinished business, we now move into new business. A land sale report. City Manager.
Yeah, thanks, Your Worship. So the city has received an offer to purchase from Ryan Bousfield for lots 13 and 14, Block 2, Plan AZ 357. The land measures approximately 15.22 meters by 38.11 meters for a total of 0.43 acres. The purchase is $7,378.50 plus GST, which is the market price charged by the city of Weyburn of $12,000 per acre for bare land, plus a $375 front meter for water. The applicant is proposing to build a contractor shop on the site. So the site is located in yellow, and the applicant actually owns the property right in behind as well. It's an overhead view of the site, and again, they own the property right in behind. So a breakdown of the calculations for the request, again, is the bare land at $12,000 per acre, which is $1,716, and then the water main at the $375, which is $5,660.50. So for a grand total again of $7,378.50. So the property is zoned as urban holdings and is designated for future development in the official community plan. An OCPN zoning amendment would be required for this request. A light industrial zone designation would allow for a contractor shop. Council's approval is required for a sale of this nature, as this is not advertised land on our city website. The sale will contingent upon the following conditions. The development of commercial building compliant with the applicable zoning is required within 2 years of the closing date of the agreement. The land is sold as is, where is, meaning any improvements, upgrades to roads, services, utilities, and other infrastructure is to be at the cost of the purchaser. The city standard sales agreement conditions, including deposits, closing, land registry, must be followed as well. The one site indication is that there is existing hydrant in front of the property that will need to be factored into the development plans. We'll have to have some movement of that when the development plan is provided to the city. Off-site development levies are applicable as well, separate from the purchase price, which will be charged at the development permit stage. So I have two options in front of council tonight. Option one is to approve the sale of lots 13 and 14, Block 2, Plan AZ 357 to Ryan Bousfield for the purchase price offered, which is $7,378.50 plus GST, with the conditions listed above, and that the city clerk be authorized to sign the said sales agreement. Second option is to provide denial to the sale, and then council has to provide reasoning for that denial. So staff recommendation is that that city council should provide approval for the sale as indicated in option one, and is subject to the conditions listed above as well.
Yes. Do you have that one?
Your Worship, I'd like to make a motion that the property sale for lot 13 and 14, Block 2, Plan AZ 357 be approved with the conditions in, to Ryan Bolso for the purchase price offered of $7,378.50 plus applicable GST with conditions as recommended.
I'll second.
I'll second that.
No, you'll second that? Mr. Corrigan. Okay, discussion? I just want to make one, go ahead.
Oh, you go ahead.
All right. Ms. Bousfield, you're here. In this area, by me? Yeah. He's here. Wait a second. Yeah, yes, there's something. You thought I was talking to nobody. Anyway, it's as is, where is. This is not service, right?
That's correct.
There's no water and sewer. I want you to make sure you understand this. There's no water and sewer. And the road conditions are as the road conditions are. Okay, so long as we have, because in past, there's been some issues. And I want to make sure that you're fully aware of this. As is, where is, this is the way the land is, and that. Okay, go ahead, Richards.
Thanks, Your Worship. My question only is around then the subsequent steps following this. There will then now be a rezoning application where we will take this from urban holdings to light industrial. That application will be coming soon?
That's up to Mr. Bousfield. So what will happen is we'll get the sales agreement done first.
Yeah.
And then we'll provide those options ahead of him and let him know what timeframes and processes that are involved with that. As indicated in the report, there is an OCP and a zoning amendment required for this property. So we'll make sure we do that. That'll be something that we'll start tomorrow. Perfect.
Yeah, and I did receive a phone call with some concerns, and I just want to clarify with the city manager that when the rezoning or the OCP comes forward, then there will be notices put out to all landowners, and then they would, if they have concerns, they can bring them forward to council at that time.
Yep, same process we follow for any other development. Within the 75-meter radius, we'll provide the public notices to them to let them know about the OCP and zoning application.
Thank you.
And this was one of the areas that basically is being changed moving forward from residential of the past to moving forward to commercial.
In that area of the city, Your Worship, we're starting to see more and more change into an industrial area just because of the other developments in that area. And so that's why we brought this forward to council for review.
Call the question. All in favor? Carried unanimously. The sale moves forward. Discretionary use permit. So, Mr. Bousfield, you can talk to our city manager tomorrow and go forward with everything else that follows on from there. Thank you. Moving forward, discretionary use permit, shipping container, 79 17th Street.
Yeah, thanks, Your Worship. So application received from Eastway Auto Body for the placement of a shipping container at 79 17th Street. The site is currently zoned as light industrial. There are 2 existing C-cans on the north side of the property, which were previously approved by council. The applicant is proposing to place an additional shipping container on the south side of the property. The shipping container measures 40 by 8 and would be for storage of associated principal use of the repair shop. Subject property is located again on 79 17th Street, East Avenue, and on Service Avenue. That's just a site location, and then a location where the storage container would be located. And then a drawing provided to show where the proposed location would be as well. So neighborhood notices, discretionary uses required neighborhood notices to be sent out to residents within 75-meter radius of the subject property, which notifies them of the application and the opportunity to provide their concerns or feedback back to council. Notices were sent out on October 19th, and no comments or concerns were received. So within zoning bylaw 2020-3412, the light industrial zone is designed to provide a wide range of industrial and services uses requiring small sites and a small amount of outdoor storage but excluding those uses which may be offensive by reason of noise, smell, or other forms of pollution. The proposal is for an 8x6 by 53 shipping container on the south side of the property. Zoning bylaw has a section of the regulations regarding shipping containers, which includes requirements that they can only be on the side or the rear of the yard, shall be sandblasted and painted to a neutral or complementary color, and shall not obstruct or reduce exits, windows, parking, or driveways. The proposed addition complies with the requirements for shipping containers in the zoning bylaw, and given the industrial nature of the property's zoning, a second shipping container is consistent with the intent. Got a few options here for council tonight. Option one is to approve development permit 2023-023 for a third shipping container at the site. Option two is to approve the development permit for a third shipping container subject to the following conditions. First condition is a shipping container shall be properly anchored and maintained in good repair. Shipping container shall be sandblasted and painted to a neutral color or complementary to the colors of the principal building. Shipping container shall be located a minimum of 1 meter from the principal building. Shipping container shall only be used for shipping or storage purposes accessory to the principal use of the site. Shipping container shall be kept clean, level, maintained, and placed in an orderly manner. Shipping containers shall not block, obstruct, or reduce exits, windows, parking spaces, or driveways. Shipping containers are prohibited from being plumbed or electrified in any manner. And then no further application will be considered, as this site will now have the maximum 3 at the site. And option 3 is to refuse the request for the third shipping container, and then council has to provide a reasoning for that refusal. So staff is recommending that option 2 is move forward to approve the discretionary use development permit 2023-023 with the conditions listed above.
Your Worship, I'd move that the discretionary use permit application 2023-023 for a third shipping container at 79 17th Street Northeast, Lot 3, Block 9, Plan 75R 45519 be approved with the conditions as recommended.
Your Worship, I'll second that motion.
Discussion.
Thank you, Worship. Matthew, there's been no complaints about unsightly premises with the other 2 shipping containers already on the property?
Councilor said not that I'm aware of. If required, we can do a little more research into that, but I'm not aware of that anyway through my office at all.
Thank you.
And there's a maximum 3.
There's a maximum of 3, and that's why this came to council. So if they have 2, that doesn't have to come. Once that third one comes, it has to come to council for approval.
Call the question. All in favor? Carried unanimously. That finishes up our new business. Inquiries and announcements. Mr. Janke, do you want to talk to us about the Weyburn Eagles? Great victory.
I would be quite pleased to, Your Worship. Thank you.
Being an old Eagles that you are.
I don't know if I'm the oldest former Eagle in the room here.
Former. I think there was an older. Okay. Former.
All right. I've been advised not to do a survey of who played for that team and when. But yeah, I am thrilled to congratulate Coach Kerr and the Weyburn Eagles for winning the 5A provincial championships, 35-17 against Aidan Bowman this Saturday afternoon. It was a beautiful day for football, and it was a fantastic send-off for Coach Abel, who is playing his last game, or playing his last game. He played his last game. No, wait, we said we weren't going to talk about who played and when. Coaching his last game with the team. I was on his team many, many years ago. I was there for his first game. I was pleased to be there for his last game. I mostly rode the bench in the first game, and I sat in the sidelines and watched this one too, so it all balances out. But congratulations to the entire team and everyone involved with this fantastic rated number 2 in all of Canada.
And I don't know whether they were weighting the stats, weren't they, to see whether or not we were vying for the number 1 spot. We didn't make the number 1 spot?
I haven't heard those numbers, sure. I'm not sure the Quebec teams have actually played yet, but given the performance we put out there, I think we've done everything in our power to get number one.
So, and again, a very good round of applause to all of those involved in the team, all the players and all the management and that. So that is very, very well done. Okay.
I'd just like to commend the community and administration for the budget consultations we did last week. I think they were fantastic. It was a good opportunity for people to come out and have a conversation, and it was really well done. So look forward to doing it again.
Yeah, thanks, Your Worship. I had the same comment that I wanted to make. I thank administration for putting that together. Also to the public, for those that came out, yes. Also those that found that as just a way to start a conversation with councillors that you met in the community to say, here's what we think is important. That is invaluable feedback for us, so thank you.
Coming up, we have our next council meeting. Danette?
Yes, Your Worship, November 27th, 6 p.m., right here.
Mr. Warren and I will be away this week, later this week, to a mayor's conference. He's administration conference and then a mayor's meeting later, then Agribition. I'm involved in a couple meetings up there, 3 meetings actually, up in Agribition, one through the tourism, Weyburn Tourism, and also one through an ag business I've been invited to. And it's a very, very busy months here coming into November. December is coming in forward, moving forward into a lot of other different events that are happening. Other events, Laura, there? So there's quite a lot happening within our, the chamber. I just one more thing. The chamber's rebranding is Wednesday, the 5th.
Wednesday, 3 to 5 at the Credit Union Community Room.
Right, 3 to 5. And so that is very, again, very important to see that one. So with that being said, there's no notice of motions, and we will call for a meeting of adjournment.
If you'd like to share your feedback on the program you just watched, contact us today